Hey, good morning, Buck fans. What's up? Welcome to Bucks Report pregame show. It's your host AJ Turnup. Hope you guys doing all right today. Happy Sunday, and I'm sure some of y'all Buck fans out there woke up and thought Bucks play at 1 today or 8 at night. Nope, we play tomorrow night, and so this should give you enough time to chop it up with me today before the game. That's why I said 11:30. So get a nice little hour in so you guys can sit back, prepare yourselves, and get ready to watch the rest of the games. And of course, we hope the Saints, the Falcons, especially the Falcons and Panthers lose. So that's always a good thing. It's always nice to sit back sometimes and evaluate what other teams are doing to see where the Bucks stand. That's why I do like them days where I can just sit back and evaluate other players. And good morning to you, Bucks Rays. How you doing? And I'm gonna break that down today and talk about how I feel. Thank you for asking. Right now, I feel good and bad. Now, to make my summary of it, I feel real good about this Bucks offense coming in the game because I believe in what Cohen is doing. He's establishing a growth and progress in the passing and the running, despite the fact that we are down Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. This offense is clicking. It's not perfect, but it's making strides. Now, where I feel bad is the unfortunately the lack of confidence that I have had in Bowles and his scheme and what he is doing to improve this team and his lack of adjustments that he has been making so far. So that's why the Bucks definitely do have a chance to win. Uh, Buck fans, let's just get this out here. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, when they play the Chiefs, this is not a lopsided game as much as the media wants to portray. This is not the same explosive Chiefs offense that we had been facing for the past few years, especially during the Super Bowl run of the Bucks. This is a very vulnerable team that is a good team because they're well coached, well disciplined, but their defense has been carrying them so far. Mahomes has not been having the strongest season, but he is still Mahomes. He makes plays when necessary. But with all that being said, Buck fans, the Bucks have a great shot at beating this team. They sure do. And we're going to get into it. So that's why. And Bucks Ray, it is a 50-50. And you are right. From here on out, Buck fans, it's a must win. It's a must win game until the end of the season. To be quite honest, because we did not take care of business against the Falcons last week, the Bucks have put themselves in a position where they have to hope that the Falcons collapse or they lose a few games. Now, it's not impossible because the Falcons, just like the Chiefs, they're not a dominant team. It's just that you have to put teams like that away earlier so they don't have a fighting chance of playing you all, of beating you in the end. Now, let's just get to the defensive side of the ball because that's the most important thing of this game. What is Bowles going to do when it comes to the defensive side? We already know that the cushion coverage and zone coverage that Bowles has been playing for the entire season is ineffective. It's very ineffective. We know that. The stats show there's a reason why when Kirk Cousins plays the Bucks, he goes off. First game, 509 yards and 5 touchdowns. This game, 4 touchdowns. This previous game, it's Bowles' scheme at this point. Are the players perfect? No, but that is also Bowles' job as a head coach to utilize each resource that he has. And we got the dude in the house right now, going to be coming in. But that's the key right now, that this is an evaluation for Todd Bowles because at this point, you know the weaknesses of this scheme and defense. So why are you not attempting to fix it? Why do you insist on using a scheme that you know that does not work? Now, for people out there who would say, how dare I question Bowles? I've coached the game as well. And you want to know something that makes a great coach? Simplicity, adjustment, being a strategist. That's what it takes. So at this point for Bowles, if it's the lack of communication for the players, at this point, that's on you as a coach. It's okay to simplify plays. That's one thing that I would love to do. I want the first thing, if you're going to coach players, you need them to learn the basics. Your scheme will improve over time, but if you know that you don't have the proper players to play to their strengths or to your scheme, you have to learn how to adjust. As we see, when cushion coverage has been established, the middle is open because KJ Britt is a weak factor and he cannot cover, not because he doesn't try. KJ Britt is just too damn slow. So the simple fact that he is being exposed, why not allow Winfield to come down in the box to help out? Zion McCollum is balling. You don't need to worry about him getting beat deep. Focus on the task at hand. If they take their shot, you need to have faith that Zion will be able to make the play. But what you cannot do is allow a team to slowly dissect and chop up your defense where they're tired and they're out on the field all the time and they're continuing to lose. How about we see other players? Where's Ramirez? Where are these other guys? My thing is, if they cannot understand, now, coach, people will say, well, AJ Bowles might not believe in them because they're not ready. If they can't do the basic packages, these players shouldn't even be on the team. So why is it, if you know that your starter is struggling, Bowles, on defense or certain schemes, why not make the proper adjustments? Because when I say man coverage, I think the Bucs would benefit that. I state when I say man coverage, that means to jam the receivers. I've been saying this for the past few years, and I'm going to continue to say it. Jamming receivers, ladies and gentlemen, is not simply about just shutting down the receiver. It is about disrupting the timing and rhythm between the quarterback and his receiver. When you disrupt the timing and the route running of the wide receiver, that is going to make the quarterback have to read through his progressions. And if he has to read through his progressions, more than likely your pass rush will be able to get there because now he has to pause that extra second. And that extra second might be all the time that your defense needs to get to the quarterback. We are very aware that the Bucs don't have an elite pass rush, despite, the Bucs have 21 total sacks this season, which isn't bad because the Chiefs only have 15. So that shows you that when Bowles decides to get aggressive at the right time, good things happen. The problem is Bowles' inconsistency with making things happen. That's why I truly think if the Bucs can go back to more man and physical coverage, especially when you're playing teams when they don't have elite receivers, that is what you can do when you disrupt the time. And that is what jamming receivers is all about, Buck fans. When you do that, we have the talent enough. The front seven is talented enough where if you slow down the receivers, the pass rush will get there. I think Yaya could do something. Vita Vea, we already know what he can do. Canty will be able to come alive. And then that's why I harp on the man coverage more often. You can't just play it one time and then if something goes wrong, you abandon ship, because that's the irony about it. Bowles is so stubborn. Even when the zone is not working, he'll stick to that shit. But when the man messes up maybe once or twice, you don't want to go back to it. What sense does that make? So you're willing to abandon the man coverage soon, but you're getting your defense is getting gassed out there when they're playing zone. They're getting exposed. Players are wide open in the middle of the field. Then all of a sudden, that's when the run game comes alive, because now that takes away, because they're so protecting the pass, so they can't load the box. Now your team is just mentally, physically getting taken out of the game. And then when your offense finally comes back in, the opponent's defense is well rested and fresh, and all they got to do is pin their ears back and come after the quarterback. Bowles, you're going to have to mix things up. Also, your blitzing is getting obvious. When they have figured that out, that is when you need to make the changes. There is no need to do zone blitzes. I cannot stand it. We don't have the personnel to do that. And that is also why people, hear me out. When you play zone coverage and soft coverage, you are basically stating that and have the confidence that your corner is going to be able to get there and make that tackle, despite being 7 to 10 yards off, while the receiver has all the momentum and running at full speed. Or if a coordinator is smart, like Lumpkin did, they'll just sit back and pick you apart with the dink and dunks and set up screens. So now your poor corner has to go out there not only to get the receiver, but have to get past an offensive lineman or a tight end. You see the kind of pressure that's putting on your team, and that's how these guys are getting hurt. That's why the Tyke Smiths of the world missing games, because they're out there trying to make ridiculous tackles when they can simply play more man. Be physical. When you play physical coverage, that makes things a lot more difficult. That also tires out receivers, because if they have to fight off the line of scrimmage, they can't necessarily get as open, and they're taking a lot out of them. And I get it. It can take a lot out of the corner too, but at the same time, if your defense is getting to the quarterback, it won't matter. I truly think if the Bucs played more man press jam coverage, that they would get more sacks, because I think Yaya is getting there. He will. I think Yaya by the end of the season will be in better form. I truly think that. I think Kancey is getting his NFL lungs back. I think Winfield is getting his NFL lungs back. But how about we play that kind of coverage first in order to, that's just a basic package of football. Whose guy is better? If you already know, Bowles, that the coverage cushion zone coverage scheme is hurting your defense, why do you insist on playing that? And also mix up the damn roster. Give Ramirez a shot. Give Broswell, give these guys more repetition to make your starters stay fresh. You got to see what you have out of them. You don't have to make shit so damn complex all the time with your schemes, Bowles. Sometimes just have these guys flat out see what they can do. You don't know. Hell, maybe if Broswell gets more reps, he can get things done. You don't know what Ramirez is going to be like. You don't know what JJ Russell can be in pass coverage. He looks like he's faster than Britt. Maybe just simplify the playbook where it's, okay, Russell, this is what I need you to do. Use your speed to make sure you cover the flats or you cover the middle. That's all we need you to do. That's all we want to see you do. Bowles, you are going to have to get out of your own way, because your way right now is not helping this team. Your way is hurting this Bucs defense. Your way is, you're showing us that you're not, in a way, it's almost as if the players either tuning you out, or from what I'm thinking, it's just that teams know what to do and how to handle your scheme already. And that is why I truly think, Bowles, you're going to have to look deep inside yourself, because this is a team that still can be dangerous. What are you going to do with Travis Kelce coming in there? You cannot let him, you cannot allow him to get open, because he's going to make you pay. You know, more than likely they're going to line Kelce up on the side where Britt is. So are you going to move Winfield down in the box, as you should, to help him out? You can't worry about Hopkins and Zion. I put my money, for the most part, that Zion will be able to handle Hopkins, because this is not the same Hopkins of 5 to 8 years ago. So you have to trust in your players, and you can keep Whitehead in the backfield. You can't worry about getting beat deep all the time, Bowles. And sometimes if it happens, you go back to the drawing board. But if you continue to play too cautious and scared, and do not know when to be aggressive and adjust your aggression, that's how you're going to get picked apart. And then they're going to have Xavier use his speed. So at that point, if you want, you can double him or put a safety up top just in case your guy gets beat. A speedy receiver like that, you want to beat them up on the line of scrimmage and tire them out. You don't want them to beat out your corner. So beat them up. And if, like I said, if you play that kind of coverage, put a safety to help your corner out just in case he gets beat. That's what it's about. You have to know how to adjust. Remember, this Chiefs offense is not a juggernaut this year. They're just they're just barely getting things done. And we already know when it comes to the ref officiating for Chiefs, there's a few games out there that they should have. In reality, the Chiefs should have lost 2 to 3 games, but officiating helped them. But I don't want to go too off track. But I'm spending so much time harping on this defense because that's what it's going to take. It's going to take for this front seven to put pressure on Mahomes. You have to make him uncomfortable. And by making him uncomfortable, you want to make Mahomes have to read through all his progressions or try to get the ball out quick so we can pick him off. I guarantee you this. They're not worried about taking all the necessary deep shots. They're going to take what Andy Reid is going to take what Bowles gives. He'll slowly dink and dunk his way down. And then if by the time the corners are so damn drained because they've been out on the field, that's where the deep shots will come in, or they're going to try to establish a run. So why not, Bowles, come in this game against the Chiefs? You got to punch them in the mouth. If you starting off on defense, there is no reason to give them any kind of soft coverage. Load the box, play more man. Hell, continue to play that man coverage until they beat you out of it. You got to make them pay for it, Bowles. You got to. You have to make them pay, because if you do not, then Mahomes is going to have a field day. And we know Mahomes will take off sometimes. So that's where you get the disguised blitzes coming in. Be more creative. That's why I keep saying utilize everyone that you have on this roster. When they come into the game on defense, just have them know one assignment. That's what made Belichick a great coach. He didn't ask too much of players. He said, I want you to do what you do best. If you rush the passer, if that's what you do best, that's what I want you to get in there to do. If you have the speed to where you can cover, that's what I want you to do. And that's where Bowles has to simply do that. It's not always going to be about your scheme. As you can see, they know your scheme. That doesn't mean they always know your players. You never know. J.J. Russell might have the speed to keep up with the receivers or the tight ends. You don't know. Ramirez might be able to get a spark in the pass rush. If you don't put these players out there, Bowles, you are the failure at this point. Because if they can't understand the simple, basic package of certain things, then they don't even need to be on the roster. That's a waste of space. And you've had weeks, and it's week 9. Your defense should have already been established. There should be no communication issues. At that point, I'm not going to put it necessarily on the players, because these are the same. A lot of these, there's quite a few people on this team that were on the Super Bowl winning team just a few years ago. So Bowles, at this point, your scheme is compromised when it comes to zone and cushion coverage. Instead of them playing 5 to 7 yards, how about maybe 3 yards off? How about do that? Try that. Try that. And I'm going to go through some of these comments. Yes, I do think Bowles is on the hot seat. I think he should be. He deserves it, because the past few games has been a travesty. Because of Bowles' ego, he is the reason why that our beloved Chris Godwin is out, because he made a bad decision. Now, people want to say, well, you get mad when he does it. Yes, I get mad when he makes the wrong decisions, because as a coach, he should already know how to do so. He should already know when to make the exact calls. He's not new to this. He has played football most of his life. So why is it that he doesn't know when to adjust and use the right common sense to make shit happen? You're supposed to be a defensive-minded genius. That is supposed to be Todd Bowles' specialty. So why aren't you being special in what you do? And yeah, I know Bucs race, and I think that's a load of shit. I think that's bullshit. The numbers, the probability of them coming back was astronomical. It wasn't going to happen. And besides, that was a non-important game, because that was AFC conference. You should have been ready. If Godwin plays against the Falcons, the Bucs whoop the Falcons' ass. Simple as that. If Godwin was playing, Bucs whoop the Falcons. Simple as that. And we even see that some of the bullshit officiating did not help. But again, that's another story. I'm back on Bowles against this Chiefs team. This is the first time where I could say the Bucs defense actually is not overwhelmingly outmatched against this offense. You already know who the people are. The main priority of business is to put pressure on Mahomes and watch Kelsey. Hopkins, he is slowly getting acclimated. He can be a factor, but realistically, it's Xavier Woods and Kelsey, and they're going to try to get that run game started. So load that box. I truly think when the Bucs do better, when they load the box and they're aggressive in the beginning, because you want to take this team off. You want to keep them from getting the offensive rhythm. And if anytime Mahomes decides to run out of the box, you need to make him pay. You got to make him pay. And when it comes to Evans, I think Evans should have went out later on, but at the same time, he's a fighter. He's a warrior. It is what it is. And Evans has always had issues with hamstring injuries. So we're used to that. But Godwin, that was just inexcusable. For what Bowles did, that was just dumb. That made no sense. But let's see. Thinks the Bucs lose 30 plus tomorrow, be fired this week. No, because the Glazers, everybody knows that they're not going to fire a team in the middle of the season. That's just not how they do it. But I wouldn't be surprised if the search for a new coach is like amped up to another level. But let's get back to this defense. The keys for Bowles, in my opinion, is to be aggressive early. Play more man. And I know you can't play man the entire game. I'm not here to say that. But what I'm saying is you need to throw the haymakers first. The problem with the mentality and the philosophy of Bowles, he does too many jabs where he's trying to fill you out. You can't always fill somebody out. Sometimes if you come out there and throw the right hook and the right haymaker, that person is not going to expect. Sometimes, a lot of times, they might not expect that, and you catch one, it might bring them off balance, and it might make them shook. Everybody's got a plan until they get hit. Tyson said it best. You don't know, Bowles, what happens if you play that aggressive man coverage that I'm mentioning, and Mahomes gets rattled where he gets sacked on the very first play, or he throws a bad interception because he's under duress. And now your offense can come out there on the short side of the ball where they at least got automatic 3 points right then and there. That's the kind of mindset I want Bowles to play. The bend and break is not working because we might not necessarily be breaking, but we're folding. I need Bowles to have the mentality where he wants to get 3 and outs. So that means when it's 3rd and 6, there shouldn't be corners 6 yards off. No, maybe 3 yards off. That's all you need, because what you want to do is watch for the slant. Hell, I think anything under 3rd and 5, you need to be playing lock bony up man and jamming. And I get it. It's a risk of getting a holding call, but damn it, try something, because if you don't, that's how this defense is going to get picked apart. And if they start doing that with the zone, then Mahomes is going to take off. He's going to take off, because now at that point, he knows, okay, if I'm just mobile, now I got this defense on their heels. And if I get the run game started, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. The Bucs Bowles has got to learn how to be aggressive early and then be smart. If they start putting up the blitz from Tyke Smith, then that means you need to mix it up. Have this in a way where it looks like Levante David and Winfield are going to blitz, and then when that happens, Winfield blitzes, but Levante backs out of coverage, and he picks him off in the middle. You have to establish that, Bowles. If you can establish pressure like that, I truly think the front 7 could get between 3 to 5 sacks. I say that because this is the type of team where the secondary, if they have a strong game, the front 7 will have a strong game. That's just my opinion. But we got to stop playing so cautious. It's not always about trying to fill them out. You can do that later, Bowles. You mean to tell me you don't know how to make adjustments off the fly? If you can't do that, then you have no use for this Bucs team anymore, and we don't need you here. Because at that point, you have lost your touch as a defensive mastermind. I need you to channel your Super Bowl schematics and plays like you did against the Chiefs. I need that Bowles back. That's the Bowles that we want to see. We appreciate everything you've done over the years, but this is a what have you done for me now lately kind of business. And right now, lately, Bowles, you haven't been owning up. You haven't been playing up to your worth. The best game that you coached thus far was Detroit, but that was so many weeks ago now. What are you going to do? So on the defensive side, like I said, the keys to this is shutting down the receivers, disrupting the route running, load that box, stop the run, and make Mahomes have to utilize all his receivers to win this game. So that is what's going to have to happen in order for this Bucs defense to shut down the offense. Now, let's flip it to the other side, the brighter side, guys. This is the hope. We got to be real. I don't expect Bowles to completely change his ways because we know he doesn't. Now, I have more faith in this Bucs offense because I've been damn impressed with what I've been seeing. Evans and Godwin are out, and the Bucs are still putting up points. This shows me that Cohen is only going to get better. Now, if I am the Bucs, when it comes to this run game, you have to run the ball, run the ball. With that being said, I don't want Rachaad White starting. I said what I said. I'm very aware that Bucky Irvin has got a toe problem, and Bowles has explained that he's going to have that throughout the rest of the season. But with that being said, you give it to the guy that is doing his job the best. And right now, Bucky is doing his job the best. When he hits the gaps and understand, and when he hits the hole, he knows how to pick up yards. He knows how to fall forward, and he's also he can maneuver. That is what this Bucs offense is going to have to start out doing. And I am very aware that the Chiefs are a run stout defense, but this is why I want Bucky to be the guy, because he knows how to be physical and fall forward and hit the gaps and the holes. Rachaad White, unfortunately, doesn't do that. And after we saw what he did the opening drive against the Falcons, we cannot afford to do that in Arrowhead. I think Rachaad White should be reserved more for pass blocking and receiving, and you utilize him in the fourth quarter because he has the speed in the passing game that can take the wind out of the linebackers. Give the ball to Sean Tucker. Sean Tucker is just as good a receiving running back as Rachaad White, in my opinion. Sean Tucker has speed. What you want to do is utilize all your running backs because we're going to have to. You should expect Steve Spagnuolo to more than likely load the box or come gunning for Baker Mayfield. We should already expect that. So if the run game can get going and this line is thriving, if you guys check out Bucs Report, The Aftermath, 102.9 Game Broad Street South Radio with my co-host Slick, talk to Slick. When it comes to the line, I said Cody Mock is going to get better. And Cody Mock is balling. He is balling. I already expected Gedeke to ball too, but Cody Mock is killing it. This Bucs offensive line, I truly think, can hang in there with this Chiefs run defense. We are all aware of Chris Jones, so you can double him. Everybody else, I think if Chris Jones has a bad game, that opens a lot of opportunities up for this Bucs rushing attack. But in order to beat this Chiefs rushing attack, you got to have a running back that is not scared to hit the hole and make contact. That's not Rachaad White's. That's not his forte. He's a better receiving type of back. So let's utilize Bucky and Sean Tucker first. And like I said, we are very aware that Rachaad White is good at pass blocking. Let's get to the passing scheme because I like Baker. Now, does he need to cut down on the interceptions? Absolutely. But also, Cohen, just the same as I said about Bowles keeping the offense simple, you're going to have to do that as well with your receiving core. You don't have to make them do plays where it takes at least the minimum 3 seconds to develop. Sometimes get the short passing plays out there going. With this bunch, less is more. So when McMillan and Trey Palmer is out there, now, first of all, when it comes to Trey Palmer, you need to utilize Trey Palmer not only vertically, but diagonally and horizontally. I need to see him all over the place, move him around. And now that's how you can get this passing game going. Also, I need you to get the spread going. Thin out this Chiefs defense, because we know that Baker is good. He does best when he is doing rollouts or he's on the run, on the move. He makes better passes that way. And if they blitz, it's going to leave somebody open. And more than likely, Otten or Sterling Shepard can be that guy as well. That's what I truly think that this Bucs offense needs to do, is stretch this defense out. Make the linebackers have to work for getting to the receivers. Let's get the crossing routes going. People always laugh when I mention the crossing routes, but the crossing routes, I love the crossing routes because it's good, especially in blitzing moments where if the corner is off with the soft cushion coverage, now you can do a shallow crossing route or under slant, and you have someone open. And most importantly, it's not like the Chiefs have great linebackers, but if you use crossing routes, now you can tire them out when they're running from side to side all the time. That is why I think that they got to get more usage out of that. Do not make the routes complex. McMillan, he is going to have to step up, because right now I feel like he's hitting that rookie wall. So he's going to have to help out his quarterback. I just think if Baker's doing a good job, he just has to know that he doesn't always have to be the hero. And that's, like I said, that's where Otten is going to come in. I want to see Otten get more passes up the seam, because he's been balling, and of course use him in short routes. But the kind of play that I want is, if we get in a bunch, I want this. I want McMillan on the outside. I want Palmer in the middle, and I want Sterling on the other side, on the side of him of Palmer. And I want Palmer to run a deep fly, but then an out route with his speed. I want him to be the first target, because I want Baker to roll out and run and throw it to him that way. Or I can have Sterling Shepard be the guy in the shallow crossing route, where if a linebacker or whoever comes in there, that leaves Sterling to up in the middle to be wide open. It's so many ways that I want Cohen to get this offense humming. And I love the motion, but I truly think that he needs to keep the plays simple when it comes to these receivers. There's no reason to complicate things. If it's a 3rd and 4, they need to have something quick. The only time something needs to take more than 3 seconds to develop is if there's a play action going and someone's going out for a deep pass. And it can't just be Palmer. Let's see what McMillan can do. But for right now, if you need to, dink and dunk your way down to the field, Cohen, this offense is going to have to do that, because more than likely it's going to have to be this offense that carries this team. Because as I stated before, the Bucs can't afford to lose. The Bucs, in reality, have to pray that the Cowboys beat the Falcons. And if that happens, that's cool. But the Bucs at this point have to have a better record than the Falcons. Honestly, the Bucs, in my opinion, they can't be less than 12-5. I know that's a tall order. Now the schedule gets so much easier afterwards, but at this point, if the Bucs don't play like they want to win, it won't matter. Honestly, you win today, you win tomorrow. The 49ers, I'm not saying it's a cakewalk, but you have a hell of a lot more confidence of handling the 49ers than the Chiefs. You go, because remember, 49ers got to travel to Florida this time. They got to travel to Tampa. You go into Arrowhead and pull a major upset, now it don't look so bad. And let's say the Falcons lose. Now, you, in a way, it's like, wow, okay. We tied now. So now we're not out of it. We're not out of it. But you cannot lose. You can't lose tomorrow, in my opinion. You want to show that you can make moves and that you're gonna be put for the playoffs and the Super Bowl. Win tomorrow, because you do that now. If you beat the 49ers, you're 6-4. Evan will be back coming from the bye week. You can slowly get him back into it, and the Bucs will be able to take care of business. But right now, the Bucs have got to understand they got to be in desperate mode. If you're not in desperate mode, if Bowles and Cohen don't realize that they can't afford to lose, then the Bucs season is going to be shot. So at this moment, the Bucs are going to have to look deep within themselves and hold each other accountable. This Bucs team was a championship team for the Bucs, but don't think now about the coach change. They have to understand. Think going to have the shootout? Maybe. If Bucs wins tomorrow's Super Bowl preview, that would be interesting. That would be very interesting. But at this point, I just want the Bucs to get it together and tighten up, because again, offensively, I have a lot of faith in Cohen. Right now, Bowles has got to show me that he can make a difference, because right now he is the one holding this team back. So Bowles, you need again to dig deep inside yourself and understand it's not about your ego anymore, man. You got to find a way and make it happen. You got to learn how to adjust. You got to know when to be aggressive. You got to know if they're picking up your blitzes or schemes that you have to make the change. You can't be scared. You have to have more faith in your players rather than have more fear in your opponents. So that's all I want to say. And for the head coach, I'd say this: if the Bucs offense continues to put up average 30 points a game, I would promote Cohen, because at this point he is showing you that he can lead this team and he's doing his part. And for people out there saying first year, you got to remember Cohen was a coach at Kentucky and look how he was doing. So it's not like Cohen doesn't have the experience of leading men, or you know what I'm saying. And then for a defensive coordinator, I'd go look at Robert Saleh. That's just my opinion. But right now, I don't want to think about that. I want to have support in Bowles. So Bowles, prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. And let's get this win, Bucs. Thank you all. I know it's getting to that time where you're about to get ready for football. So get your beer, your wings, your burgers, whatever. And I appreciate you guys taking the time out today. I want to give a shout out to Bucs Raised Bolts. Thank you so much for communicating and chatting. And the rest of you guys, as always, check me out on my channel. It's About Buck and Tom on YouTube. And also continue to support Bucs Report the Aftermath on 102.9 The Game, Broad Street South Radio, with my co-host Slick, the British guy who's always fly. I appreciate you all and your time. Let's just get this. Let's hope the Bucs can look inside themselves and get this win. And as always, guys, let's go Bucs.
I don't know what to say, really. 3 minutes to the biggest battle of our professional lives. All comes down to today. Either we heal as a team, or we're going to crumble. Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now, gentlemen. Believe me. And we can stay here, get the shit kicked out of us, or we can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell. 1 inch at a time. Now, I can't do it for you. I'm too old. I look around, I see these young faces, and I think, I made every wrong choice a middle-aged man can make. I pissed away all my money, believe it or not. I chased off anyone who's ever loved me. And lately, I can't even stand the face I see in the mirror. You know, when you get old in life, things get taken from you. That's part of life. But you only learn that when you start losing stuff. you find out life's this game of inches. So is football. Because in either game, life or football, the margin for error is so small. I mean, one half a step too late or too early, and you don't quite make it. One half second too slow, too fast, you don't quite catch it. The inches we need are everywhere around us. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second.